putting the first boots on the ground in Wyoming. It's after lunchtime. I got all day, the rest of the day, but I need to learn as much as I possibly can in a quick amount of time, because I need to be able to find the bird by gobble time tonight, put him to bed so I can kill him in the morning. Unless one happens to want to die before we get to that point, which would be cool too. So my game plan here, scouted out some spots on the maps. I got to the national forest and I drove in. Now this is where you get to put a couple pieces together, because obviously you don't know what it looks like until you see it firsthand. So aerial maps are great, they really help. But then actually seeing it firsthand, see what you're actually looking at, that's where it changes some things a lot of times. So my intent right now is just kind of pick a trailhead. I wanted to walk in and see if I could see any kind of indication there's turkeys here, like any kind of scratchings, any kind of tracks or poop in the road or anything like that. Just give me a little more confirmation that they're here. I'm not going to waste a lot of time here. Just doing a quick ground check, and if I see something, then I'll put more time into it. If I don't see anything, I'm going to keep moving. I want to stay mobile this afternoon and be in the truck when they're sounding off in the evening. I'll try to see if I can narrow something down a little tighter. We were in Wyoming this morning. This is the first morning for Wyoming. I got here, I guess, yesterday afternoon. Spent a lot of time cruising, just driving around, checking a couple spots. I'd pull up into a spot, I'd walk for a little bit, see if I could see any kind of turkey poop, any kind of tracks, any indication that there are turkeys in that area, using that area. I didn't find much. Driving around looking for birds, found a flock of 6 hens, like way far away from anything public, on a creek bottom, closer to public. Right before dark, I finally did found a pair of longbeards by themselves, and then a flock of hens with 2 longbeards in it. 2 separate birds. They're both, like, I'm sure they both roosted on public land. There's no access from that side, so there's another road on the backside that does have access, not much. It's got one little corner that touches, and I'm gonna fish my way through that public and try to get to the other side, but it's like 4.7 miles, straight flat miles, and this is not straight flat ground. So it's gonna take a long time to get to where those birds might be. So that's the best thing I got. I did hear birds from public land right at dark, but they were so far down onto private, I didn't feel like I had a chance. So we're gonna start here. Hopefully there's something closer than the birds that I'd seen last night. But that's the best thing I got going for me. But kind of frustrated, there's no gas stations like nearby, and I was less than half a tank, and I'm like, man, if I do any amount of running, I'm gonna be out of gas, I'm gonna be in trouble. So I had to run into town last night and probably set me back 2 hours of sleep that I could have had. But it is what it is, and these roads are rough, man. There are some really, really rough spots, I guess from the snow melt. But use a word of caution if you're looking at onX maps and think you got a road. You may not have a road, and there were quite a few spots that I intended to check out and hunt that I wasn't able to get to. So just forewarning. All right, let's get after it. There's the turkeys down there. They're all so I think I'm gonna set up on them first thing. See if I can get them. See if I can get them to run up here. Nothing else going on. I don't think this is going to happen quick. But they're still gobbling, so. believe that just worked. The birds were so far away, down on private, and I didn't think I stood a chance. They were still gobbling, so I'm like, all right, stick with them. My plan was to walk that way, up and around, like 4.7 miles through half mountains, and it wasn't going to take a short amount of time, so that was going to be an all-day affair. So I was like, well, these guys are still gobbling, so I'm just going to sit here. Hell, I slept while I was working those turkeys. I flat out took naps. I'd wake up, call a little bit, go back to sleep. Tired. And then I switched calls. Something a little more higher pitched. I mean, I was intermixing the box call in there and just really trying to strike them up, and went to that higher pitched mouth call and started cutting, and they just tore it up. And one had gobbled. It sounded like it was working up to my left a little bit. And after that, I'm thinking I'd turned the camera off because I thought it was going to take forever, and I'm just chewing up SD space. So I turned the camera off, and I got thinking, yeah, I ought to consider turning that camera back on. And I didn't. And like before I could finish the thought, I see a turkey just coming right up on the hill. I mean, it's 45 yards away when I see it, and it breaks into strut. I see these white tips on it. I'm like, oh my Lord. I reached up, turned the gun camera on at least, and he was coming right up. I'll show you in a minute. I'm set up right at the end of this little fieldy area. He was coming right up to it. Gets up on the hill, and I took my shot. They're still gobbling. Probably about a 35-yard shot on him. What beautiful bird this is. Look how white that is. The whitest thing I've ever seen. Oh my. Wow. I was so mad last night about my situation, driving around getting gas, and then come and punch this ticket right. What time is it? It's so early yet. 6:11. That is cool. State number 19. Means I get to hunt Montana tomorrow. Look at these. Oh, and before it rained. This is too cool. I love this stuff. The place. Now I think I call that one in. There may be prettier places in the country to shoot a wild turkey. And for that matter, there may be prettier wild turkeys. Right now, I don't think you could convince me of that. This is incredible.